Timmy Joe reviews anything.
Reviewing computer parts on YouTube.
Woo! Gotta be pumped on that, right, Will? Computer parts! Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Hi there! My name's Timmy Joe, and I make videos about computers. I make videos about computers on the internet. And it's been a really long time. Such a long time. Very long time since I went Team Red. I spent my own damn money on a Radeon card, and I've been rocking NVIDIA for a long time on my main gaming rig. For good reason, I think a lot of you could agree. But when this 7800 XT launched and I saw the reviews and the day one and whatever, it seems like a really good card. I think they're going to sell a crap ton of these things. So last video card was 3060 Ti. I've been rocking since COVID had 3080 Ti prices in the $2,000 Canadian range, and I might have had to have, I downgraded at the time because I wasn't really playing many video games. I've been playing a lot of video games lately. Just finished run through a Starfield, getting into Alan Wake 2, and when I got this video card in here last week, I started monkeying around with it, and I actually had some fun overclocking it. But when I went to look at the videos online of how to overclock these things, because it's not as straightforward as it used to be, there wasn't a lot of information on YouTube. I found some websites and stuff, but I decided to do my own proper benchmarking and testing, and when I figured out the crux of it, I thought, why not throw a video up there and show you what I came up with? So if you like Radeons and 7800 XTs and guys flailing their arms and stuff, come with me for a journey. I'm going to plop into computer view here, and I'll show you what I came up with as far as overclocking these things. You can get about 8 to 10% performance increase, maybe even like just 7 just by moving the power slider from 0 to 15%. And that's like one thing you got to do, and then you instantly get like 5 to 7% better performance. So come with me on a journey. Come on my computer view, and let's look. Come on. Here we are on the desktop, and for those of you who want the too long didn't read version, that's what my overclock settings are. And this has been rock solid stable in game. Been playing some Alan Wake and haven't had any issues with these settings once I dialed them in and kind of realized where the sweet spot was. So we're going to go ahead and just default this out. Boom! And we'll get into how I got there in just a second. But I wasn't able to find any good videos on YouTube of people actually overclocking on screen like I'm going to do. So hope this video helps you out. But I did find a really good Tech Power Up article that gave me some solid information. Like, number one, you're going to want to raise that power limit by 15%. That'll instantly get you a 4 to 5% overclock, probably just by clicking 2 buttons, as we'll see in the Adrenaline software. So totally worth doing this. But this chart was really helpful to me, and you'll see there's minimum voltage. Very important, because on this card, you have to undervolt to overclock. Undervolt to overclock. Very important to know. And that's when this chart and this information came into play, and it made me realize what I was doing wrong when I was trying to overclock the card and I wasn't getting anywhere. So hopefully this will all help you out. But we see I have the Powercolor RX 7800 XT Hellhound, and this is pretty much where I've been ending up. This is a little bit better than where I ended up, but as far as these numbers go, they're pretty close. And if you have a 7700 XT, this will all apply to you. You're just going to actually be able to go a little further on your overclock, but probably not as far on your memory. So just keep that in mind. There's less shaders on that, so I guess it can go a little further. And maybe the TDP and stuff is a little bit different. But yeah, this is some good information. So let's go over to the Adrenaline software. Here we go, and you have to use this. Normally I use MSI Afterburner, but as we can see, I don't have access to change the voltage, even though this stuff's unlocked. So unfortunately, until MSI Afterburner gets updated to include voltage control, it's basically useless in our case, except for to put some performance metrics on screen, because we're going to run a benchmark while we're doing our overclocking, so we can, run the engine on the dyno while we're doing the tuning, if you get the car guy reference there. So we'll leave that open, but you're going to need to go into your Adrenaline software, performance tuning, and this is where you'll end up. And don't worry about system or CPU. I'm running a 5800X, and it's just set to PBO. It goes up to 4.8 gigahertz. Got 16 gigs of DDR, 3666 megahertz. That's pretty much it. We got if we go ahead and click this on, you'll see that I've got smart access memory enabled as well. So that'll give you a little performance boost as well. But essentially, you click that button right here. Custom, manual tuning custom, and that gives us the options to enable the options. You'll see you're doing a lot of radio button clicking here to get this stuff activated. So you want to start off with this power tuning. This is if you're just a noob and you don't want to overclock, but you want a little more performance, 2 buttons. Well, you go ahead and hit manual tuning, boom. Then you click power tuning enabled, and then you pull this slider all the way to the right, and you will definitely see a performance increase, about 100 megahertz instantly. It'll just auto overclock. By doing that, it makes it go from 265 watts to about 305. So how are we going to test the card? Well, I run Time Spy with a custom run, Graphic Test 2, running in windowed mode in looping. I'll go ahead and get that rolling. And why I do that is we need to put a load on the graphics card, so when we enable these settings, we can see if they're doing their job, and as well see if there's any crashes and stuff like that. So it's a good thing to do. If you don't have 3D Mark, you can use Unigine Superposition. It's free. I think you could probably even find Time Spy for free if you were crafty enough. But we used to use Unigine Heaven, but it's like in the 300 FPS with this card, and you're not gonna put enough load on the card to really test it properly. So there we go, get our performance metrics up and going here, we can see that the card's running at roughly 2400 megahertz, and we hit that 266 watt TDP power limit. And when we bring this up here, we can start tweaking some settings. So I have the power limit set, but I haven't hit apply changes. When I hit that apply changes, we're instantly going to see this jump up 100 megahertz, maybe even a little bit more, get you closer to 2600 megahertz. That's as simple as an overclock can be. Just increasing the power limit instantly gets you a little bit of an overclock, about 5%. And I would suggest everybody go and do that because it's just free performance. It's going to suck a little bit more from the wall, and if you're concerned about that, then don't do it. But where I live, I don't think I'll ever see that on my power bill, so I wouldn't worry too much about it if you're in North America. Now, next, I would move on to memory, because there's not much to do with memory. You can get maybe another 100 megahertz. It starts off at, you have to click that radio button and then that one. It starts off at 2438. I was able to go to 2550-ish, just a little bit further than that, 2556. And I never saw any issues. When I ran it higher, I was getting some instability when I was just testing the RAM. So moving on to the GPU tuning. See, that's my max 2556 on the RAM, and it's running up there. It's good. So we want to increase our frequency some more. Stock's 2450. Now we're getting 2550, 2600 just by increasing that power limit. But we want to go further. We'll open this up and click this enabled advanced control button and hit apply. And it's not traditional where you're just going to start increasing the slider and seeing gains. You have to undervolt the card to get it to go any further because it's power limited. Clearly, we're at 302 watts. Doesn't matter how far I move this slider. You can put it to 3400 megahertz. The software is smart enough not to push it any further than it can go with that power limit. So I'm going to go bring this back to 3000. That's where I find it's the sweet spot. We're never going to break any more than about 2850 with this card that I have anyways. So going more than 3000 doesn't make sense. But what we have to do is start undervolting the card to see the frequency go up. So if I go to 1100 and I go over here and I hit apply, changes, instantly we should see a little bit of a bump, 2635. All right, so that's starting our overclocking journey. We're still at 305 watts. But what if I bring it down to a 1075? Boom. It's going to give us, what, 2700 megahertz? Come on. 2655. It depends on what part of the test it's at. on where, see, there we go. Now we're at the beginning of the test. We're getting closer to 2700 megahertz. So if I bring this down to 1050 millivolts, let's go. Come on. Prove me right. 2700 megahertz. There we go. 2690. 2689. What if we go down to 1025? Boom. There we go. We break the 2700 megahertz barrier. 27. See, now we're increasing our frequency. So we have to basically undervolt in order for the card to have the power headroom to go any further on the overclock, which is kind of not the way I'm used to it, at least not with NVIDIA. It used to be you just, move that slider and away you go. You do need to undervolt this card to get more performance out of it. So my sweet spot was like 990. I can get just under 1,000 millivolts and it be stable. But as we saw from that chart earlier, some of those cards were getting down into like the 900s, around 900 for millivolts, and still staying stable according to that guy's chart. So I'm not able to go any further than that, but your mileage may vary. Maybe you will be able to go further than that, but you end up getting a pretty good performance gain at 3000 megahertz max. See, we can put this up more and it's not going to do anything. And 985, might be able to go a little further. Can we hit 2800 megahertz in the video? Oh, 2790, 2800. There you go. See, so with just playing with these settings, we can get the card to go a little further. And again, it's in Time Spy. It's a specific workload in game. I was seeing higher clocks than that in Alan Wake 2 and whatnot. So that is how you overclock this card. Now, one thing that will help too is if you unlock fan tuning and you hit custom fan profile. You don't even have to go this crazy, but you couldn't hear the fans before. Now you can hear them going. Yeah, they're a little loud now. They're audible, and they were not at all before. But I usually use a headset. I don't mind if fans are making a little bit of noise while I'm playing video games. And how is that affected? That might actually help your overclock and help you maintain stability. We're at 85 on the hotspot and 55 degrees on the GPU die. 55 degrees, that's pretty damn low. That's one of the things that got me overclocking the card. I was like, the GPU temperature is only 54, 55? What are you talking about? And it's not really that hotspot temperature that affects things the most. But yeah, we're at pretty much 2800 megahertz now, solid 2818. And that's as far as my card will go. I'm actually kind of pushing it a little bit. I hit this limit and then I dialed it back a little bit in order to get my stability settings, and then I did an hour's worth of gaming in Alan Wake just to make sure that those settings didn't crash me out. Like, you'd be really bad if you were playing an online game like Call of Duty or something, and you were in the middle of a really good match and your overclock force closed your game and screwed you over. So you want to do some good testing before you really apply this for all time. And then the last thing I'll show you is once you're done, it will save and load with Windows, but if there's any issues, it will default all these settings back to normal. So you want to save a profile, and how you do that is this button up here, Export Profile. You just go to Documents. I saved it in this overclocking profile section, and I could go Max OC 05 overwrite. That way, if any time I need to go ahead and check or reload these settings, I can go in here and just reload them by importing them. Have fun. Go play with your card. Go see what kind of overclock you can get. These 7800 XTs, I'd akin them to the R9 290. Those sold like hotcakes at the time because they were priced below NVIDIA around the GTX 980, 980 Ti era, and they were getting similar performance to like a 980, but they were cheaper. That's what this thing's doing. It's getting similar performance to a 4070 Ti, but it's cheaper. I paid $699 for this Canadian, which is about $500 American. It's a really good value. 16 gigs of RAM. Like, this thing is a card that you're gonna be able to have in your system for a long time. I think the only downsides of it, and I might get this to this in another video, but if I do a full review on this card, it would be that FSR and the ray tracing capabilities of this card just aren't up to snuff to NVIDIA. Like, when I'm playing Alan Wake, you can't put RTX on, but with all of NVIDIA's crazy settings, DLSS 3.0 and frame generation, you can put ray tracing on and get some performance that's playable. This thing doesn't have that yet. If you put ray tracing on, it tanks the settings. It's not worth having on. So, you go AMD, you have to, there are some drawbacks, but it's a good card all around, and I've been having a lot of fun messing around with it. So I've been Timmy Joe. I hope this helps you overclock your card. If you have questions, I'll try and answer them in the comments. I'm not promising anything. It's been a long time, but I did a video on the internet. I mean, I went Team Red today. So keep it sleazy. Keep your stick in the ice. Keep on rocking in the free world. Whatever my old saying for an outro was. And do-do-do-do. Do-do.